We have some pretty big news today. We have Meta rolling out a global launch. I think it's across over 100 countries that people can now display their digital collectibles both on Facebook and Instagram. And I was saying that you have actually already tested this feature, which is going to be pretty sweet to actually showcase here in just a minute. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about this big update. Literally came out today as far as the global launch is concerned. But you have already tested it. Can you tell us what it's kind of like if you walk us through the steps a little bit?
Yeah, man, it's actually super easy. There's like a digital collectibles tab on your Instagram. I haven't used it on Facebook yet. And you basically click it and it will prompt you to connect it to one of your wallets. It can pretty much be any wallet. Like it has a list of like the five most popular. I think it has like MetaMask, Trust, Atomic, and some others, Coinbase wallet. And then from there, you just connect your wallet and it sees all your NFTs and you just choose which one you want to post. And it's just like a regular post on Instagram, except it shows that you authentically own it. It's a little bit different. What it does on Instagram is it kind of has this like holographic feel to it, like a holographic like trading card. So opposed to like just a regular trading card where you just see the card, if you move your phone, it's probably harder to see on desktop. I think if you click it on desktop, it shows it. But on your phone, if you like move your phone, whichever way you're looking at it, it like glows. I think it's pretty
Mhm.
cool because like people are they're gonna know that it's different. Like they're gonna be like, what is this? Why does my JPEGs not look like this? So yeah, I thought it was a pretty cool feature.
Yeah, no doubt. So I'm gonna pull it up. Wow, yeah, it does look way shinier on mobile. I'm gonna slide it across the screen. Like it has that like sheen. So let me
Yeah,
load it back again.
I bet it might like glow too. And then like yeah, you can see it like whichever way. It's a little hard to see on this, but when you're actually looking on your phone, like you can noticeably tell that it's holographic.
Yeah, and like so I pulled it up on my phone too, like the actual how people can like walk them through it is like there's that hamburger menu if you go to your profile and you just click that and you can see like digital collectibles actually one of those options down here. You just click on that and it'll ask if it says share digital collectibles with followers and fans. And when you get started, it says you control your digital collectibles, so you can disconnect your digital wallet at any time. And then these are the different wallets. So these are pretty notable wallets as well. You got Coinbase wallet, Dapper. So we're going to be able to display like the flow chain and the whole Dapper
Yeah,
ecosystem, which I find really cool. MetaMask, you have Rainbow and Trust Wallet. So obviously some of the biggest wallets in the space. Um, Now that means that people can truly display their digital collectibles now. Like, how cool is that? In terms of like how you see this affecting platforms like Vivi, what do you think is going to happen in both short term, long term? Does this affect Vivi? Does it not? What's your thoughts on that?
sure. Yeah. I mean, the elephant in the room is it's going to have to go interoperable first because these things have to be in your wallet. Like they have to be in your Web3 wallet in order to be connected. How it's going to affect VV is once that's possible, people are going to see that again, these JPEGs are different. Like it's going to show proof of ownership over these assets. The whole joke of saving this is mine now. It shows this is just a way to show that it's a little bit different, and I think this is a way show mass media that there's a difference between saving something on your phone and proof of ownership because this is going to be identifiable on the blockchain and you don't even have to know all those technicals. You just have to know. A kid can look at that and say this is my 2-year-old can look at that and say this is shiny and this picture isn't shiny, and they don't have to know the difference, but there is a difference. And I think that's going to be good like exposure for the space personally.
Yeah, no doubt. Like, what are you most excited about this? Like, for not only our generation, but future generations? Is this going to further like cause mass adoption at a higher level for NFTs? I mean, considering this is the bear market, this is like pretty exciting news, I would say, just in terms of the whole NFT space as a whole. And what's your thoughts on that? Like, does this affect the macro of things since it is a global launch? And now people are able to display their digital collectibles in Web3. Like, what's your thoughts on the macro as well?
Yeah. Well, this isn't really macro, but first, like I also think it's good for artists because not they're not only just shiny, but they also point back to the artist. The 3D birds isn't the best example because I think that artist is Anon. But if you're actually buying art from artists, that would already be connected to the profile on the blockchain. So, there is no, oh, they didn't tag the actual artist of this. And then my wife is a photographer. So for photography, I can definitely see that being the thing too. Like, sometimes people will post their pictures and not tag her. Well, that's not a thing anymore, because if they post the NFT, it's going to show who the artist was. But yeah, for mass adoption, I think they're going to need to do a little bit more than just like obviously like the hollow thing to it. But I think this is a step in the right direction for Meta, for Facebook, and for Instagram. Just kind of gaining exposure to it. I see the different view right now, and sorry, I lost my train of thought a little bit with that. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. And for me too, is like, what is the future of not only just like NFTs, PFPs, but like actual like trading cards and games? Like, if you look at
Yeah.
what Pokemon had did to the collectible space, it's obviously been like the most one of the most disruptive, collectible type of I guess collectibles really in the world. So you talk about the cards, the card game. A lot of people like to collect the cards. Like I wonder how this changes the dynamics of something like a Pokemon. Not to say if they're gonna do NFTs or whatever. I think they will. I think we've seen that like, in terms of like Wizards or what's the game Magic the Gathering. I think they're actually like hiring people to work on NFTs. So I've seen some of their job listings, and I think it's gonna like eventually just lead to that. But it doesn't even have to be Pokemon. It could be some other brand or it could be some other game. What's your thoughts on like what that is going to do to actual collectibles? Like, is that going to make them skyrocket in value long term, short term, midterm? What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, it definitely could. Again, I think that proof of authenticity is a big deal, because, like, I used to collect, Pokemon cards, and I used to collect Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Yu-Gi-Oh is probably an easier example, because the hardcore collectors, or even like just the regular collectors, they knew the difference between a like real card and a fake card. Like, I remember I thought I bought like a piece of Exodia back in the day, but the back of the card was totally fake. It was fabricated. It was like shiny and stuff, and like that showed. And I don't even think it was legal to use like in like if you were to like play somebody in the card game. But it's just the easiest way to see like what's authentic and what's not. As far as like if like Pokemon ever jumped on board, I mean, that's the difference between somebody actually owning, let's say if they had these virtual cards, like if somebody owned a 1 in 100 Charizard, they could put that on Instagram and people could prove that they're actually a sole owner of that, opposed to just posting a random picture of Charizard or like screenshotting the card and putting it on there. So especially like in the future, which I mean, this is years down the road, for some of these larger companies, that proof of ownership really speaks volumes.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, absolutely. So I wonder how they're going to handle security on everything though, because we know that like you can't just knock off like if Pokemon does go to NFTs and all that good stuff, and they do have authentic Charizards or whatever. Like I think that's obviously going to be huge, but it's like yeah, you have that, and you can't knock that off. Like it's going to show on the blockchain that that's authentic, and there's probably going to be more platforms that show that that's authentic and can verify that without users having to like dig and get into the Web3 ether scan stuff. So I think like long term that's going to look great, but in terms of security, like I feel like there's still those implications where if you accidentally click the wrong link, your NFT gets stolen. Like I still see that as a problem, like with the space, and something that I think will be a huge con. And I don't know how they conquer that issue or whatever, or solve that issue. I mean, what's your thoughts on that? Like, in terms of security and, really like educating the masses and, you know, I don't want my like mom getting scammed. What if she buys a Charizard or I doubt she would ever do that. But yeah, for somebody that's like not native to Web3, like what are the complications and things you see like happening with this whole big rollout of macro Web3 everywhere in the space?
Yeah, I think it's kind of layered. I think the easiest solution is kind of have like a layer of centralization and a layer of decentralization. I think Recur might do. I'm trying to think of a good example of that. Yeah, I would say Recur is a good example of that. So Recur has a marketplace, and you could buy, sell, and trade everything on that marketplace. But if you want to take it out into your wallet, then you can do so. And so that makes people that want to take it out happy because you're able to do that and you know the risk of doing that. But it makes people that want to feel a little bit safer over a centralized platform be able to keep it in there. So I think that's a good measure is having like again like a walled garden, but also allowing you to take out of that walled garden. I think another thing is just like as the time goes on, I do think that there's going to be more security measures. I know MetaMask is already adding features that's basically if you go to sign a transaction, it will just straight up tell you you are signing away all of your Bored Apes, you are signing away all of your Pudgy Penguin, whatever the project is. So, and that's a great step in the right direction for MetaMask because it's saying, hey, you're about to give away your assets. And I think as time goes on, I think these Web3 companies are going to get better at security measures. I think Pokemon will have their own wallet. Maybe they'll use GameStop's wallet or I think Loopify or whatever it is. And by that time, again, I think there will be layers of centralization, and I think there will be layers of security that to hopefully protect people like if your mom were to buy a card. So I guess just to reiterate, if she wants to buy that Charizard card, she could buy it on Pokemon's walled garden. But if you wanted to buy that same card, but you said, hey, Pokemon also came out with this new game on Polygon, and if I take it out of Pokemon's platform and move it to Polygon, I can use that card in that game, as a 3D figure in that game, you could do so.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, and what I'm kind of excited about, and I love that like MetaMask is actually working on security and not just like here we have this wallet, go use it, but they're actually taking some ownership over that. And I know you got to kind of go probably here in just a minute, but and shout out to your coffee shop, man. That's pretty exciting. I don't know if you announced that in the stream just yet, but go to Chris's channel. We all know where you're at, man. Chris Coffee. If you're not following Chris, give him a follow. Buy his coffee and subscribe to his membership, man. You got a Patreon, right? Like you got the coffee grounds. You
Yeah,
can buy.
the highest tier of my Patreon, I roast coffee for them and send it to them once a month.
That's awesome, man. But yeah, that's like exciting that they're actually working on the security part. What I'm excited to is like deeper, further integrations with layer twos and other blockchains like Polygon, like you said, where really MetaMask could just help integrate that with Facebook and Instagram and displaying our collectibles there because it's like problematic that they only offer support for Ethereum layer one, which is still cool. It's still awesome. But there's just so much more out there than just Ethereum layer one NFTs, which I think will probably be the future of NFTs is like these layer twos. You have the polygons and the immutable X's. And, of course, I work for Miria now and there'll be games over there. Just had to chill that a little bit. But yeah, like the rise of layer twos, I think are going to be massive and have really big implications. And, there's been so many announcements about layer twos lately. And there's Arbitrum and even Avalanche, which I know there's a scandal over there recently, but I still think they'll get through that. But yeah, like in terms of that, I hope that they offer more support. Even Binance Smart Chain, you can still use your same like ERC20 like address and just use MetaMask and swap over to that network. So hopefully they offer support for all of that soon. How long do you think that's going to take? Like for all that, like the extra additional support?
Yeah, man, I don't know, because it's definitely a difference, like even in small things. Like I was and you were too, like a big trader on Immutable X during the hotspot, when it first took off, and it would just been really cool if it integrated with like Twitter to like use like some of my Immutable X NFTs as my PFP for like the hexagon, but you couldn't. Also, it's also just hard to view. I mean, you can't even really view your NFTs on Immutable X unless you like go to Immutable X, instead of just being able to view it over Etherscan or view it like in your, it's not obviously you can't see it on your OpenSea or anything. But I do think OpenSea is integrating with Immutable X, in the future. But that's kind of beside the point. I don't. And to answer your question, I don't know because like, veve is built on Immutable X. It's built on a layer 2, not on a layer 1. So not only do we not have like them in our Web3 wallets, but like even if we did, there's not much we could do right now with the way the space is. So I'm sure that support will be offered there eventually. I don't know. In my mind, a lot of these layer twos are really built for like mass, like gaming, built for mass. Like veve has what 8 million collectibles and comics, something like that. They're built for scaling, like scalability. They're not really built as much for like flexing, I guess.
Yeah.
But that integration would definitely be cool. Just to be able to connect your, I guess, your IMX wallet. I don't really know. It's kind of a weird thing with these layer twos.
Yeah. Well, I know Immutable X, they do offer support where you can like at least I think it depends on the project, right? So like Gary's V books or
Yeah,
whatever those were called. I actually had those and
are you still
you
holding?
could transfer those, yeah, to the layer one. But like once you transfer it to layer one that moment, you weren't able to transfer it back to layer two. I think they're working on that. Like the layer twos are working on like bridging back to layer two, but currently, like that's not you can't do that. So I do see like people displaying like their layer twos on layer one if it's a capability on that layer two, but it's just hard to go back. Like if you're like, okay, well, I want to still be back on that ecosystem where kind of it belongs and I don't have to pay gas fees. You can't necessarily just do that like simple and easy. So there's still like we're so early. Like it's funny to talk about this because probably in the next 5 years or whatever, like this will be just like a small little bump in the road of like kind of the macro of things. So yeah, I do see like more connections being made there and they'll iron out those like little issues currently that we're facing. But yeah, currently it seems problematic and we'll see how quickly they remedy those issues. So um yeah. Is there anything else you wanted to talk about? I know like Apple, or I know you have to go, so I don't know how much more time you have, but
I can talk a little bit longer. I did want to mention that like Atro does a good job at that too. So like Atro has their web app that you can pull it off of onto Immutable X, and then you could bridge it from Immutable X to your wallet, your Web3 wallet, which I think I've actually done. So that's a good example of how you can. It's a little complicated, but like everybody wins in a way. If you want that security and safety of a walled garden, you can keep it on the Atro web app. If you want to trade it for Ethereum, which I did on Immutable X, you could quickly do that. It's super fast. Trading is pretty cheap because the transaction fees are stupid cheap. Or if you wanted to you wanted to have it on a layer one, you could bridge it from Immutable X to layer one, and you could use it as a Hexagon PFP. I think Blake Mia Cake. I don't know if you know him. He was a very early advocate for Atro. He has a Atro card as his Hexagon PFP on Twitter. So I think Atro is doing despite the controversy over a couple of things, I think they do a good job. And as far as like what makes sense in my head for like a win-win situation for everybody.
yeah, totally. I totally agree. It's gonna be exciting. I hopefully maybe like I remember HR tweeting that like Vivi should buy like I guess their parent company. I don't know if that's
Yeah.
ever gonna happen, but I thought that was like interesting speculation and kind of like ooh. And then of course the CEO like deleted the tweet, so I'm not sure if anything will actually happen. But you know how like the Vivi community like we get super passionate and like crazy about stuff, so I could see why he deleted that, but. Yeah, talking about Apple, I saw you do that video yesterday. And then like it's just crazy. Like does this affects I feel like more than just Vivi. Like what's your thoughts on that? Like for those that everybody that's like watching, maybe they didn't watch your video or maybe they're not up to speed on Apple. Apple just announced the other day that they were going to do 30% fees on buying and selling NFTs on their platform. So they're building in that 30% fee, just like they do with all their current apps. But what the issue I foresee, and Chris, you can maybe talk about it from your point of view as well. But for me, it's like the in-app currency. You get 30% fee there that the app has to pay Apple, and then now the NFTs. Is this going to be problematic for more platforms than just Vivi? And like, what do you see happening there?
Yeah, so there's a bullish and bearish case to be made. I kind of shared both in my video. I think VV is pretty relevant to this because they're one of the only NFT apps that's like out right now that you can buy and sell NFTs on. Um, so the bearish case is 30% is a lot, especially when you get into bigger sales. Like there was a punk that sold for 4 million yesterday. I can imagine 30% of that sale up front. Like that's a lot. So you probably won't be seeing that. What I think is going to happen, besides the fact people are just going to use the web app more, is there's probably going to be a convenience fee that they're going to charge, a 30% convenience fee. It's just going to suck because, like, on top of that, we have the 2.5, or we have the around 8.5 total percent fees off the licensors and off of like the marketplace itself, which is totally understandable. Like, that makes sense. And then the 10% fee to cash out. So, these start adding up. I think at the end of the day, either people are just going to start using the web app for transactions, or apparently what DraftKings just did. DraftKings, I guess, reacted to the announcement. Somebody commented on my video saying this. DraftKings reacted to the announcement and they just said we're not going to allow iOS purchases anymore. So
Wow.
they're just straight up like, okay, you want to take 30% from us? It's not going to happen. The good case to be made is this is 1 billion potential players. Like, this is like Apple saying, hey, we know that NFTs are here to stay. We just want a cut of it. So that's 1 billion Web3 wallets that can be put on smartphones, and Apple basically saying we're okay with it. If you buy and sell NFTs over our devices, we just want a cut. So I think the exposure is great. It just sucks for companies that are already out here. It sucks for like smaller NFT companies that are probably trying to get off their feet. I couldn't imagine somebody coming to my coffee shop, and just demanding, all right, I already pay enough taxes, so now it's like we need 30% on top of that. Like that's significant out the bottom line, man. But it could be great exposure, and this is Apple saying we know that NFTs are here to stay.
Yeah, totally. So if you're watching now, you're live. I'm gonna do a little hack and a test here live on the stream. I need everybody to refresh if you're on browser, refresh the stream. And if you're on mobile, close it down and reopen it. We're gonna do some engagement boosting there. So it definitely helps out with the stream. Anyways, yeah.
Interesting. Didn't know that.
Yeah. I'm testing it out. I don't know if it's gonna work,
Okay.
but I heard it somewhere in the grapevine. So if you do want to help out the channel, please do that. And then I could just come right back in the stream. But
hopefully you don't
yeah,
have anybody that has a short-term memory loss like me. I'd probably close it out. Watching again.
yeah. Don't do that. Don't have short-term memory. But I see it as a big benefit for sure. And it's just like one of those weird, like, kind of Thanos snaps is what I kind of relate it to. Because it's like on one side, you have, like, Thanos does have a good point where it's like, okay, half of existence, like, it's just not sustainable. And then, like, you have this other half that's like, okay, like, half the world's gone and you killed killed half the people. So I feel like this is kind of one of those instances where it's like half good, half bad, and it's like a Thanos snap essentially. And I feel like that's the case. Like, DraftKings is like, no, thank you. But I think some apps may adapt to it. They might actually say, okay, well, we're gonna move forward with this because we do want more users. Like mobile games, for instance, mobile NFT games specifically. I seen WagMe Games. They actually tweeted a bunch like, we're actually for this because it onboards mainstream and makes it easy, and we'll gladly pay the 30%. But to kind of rebuttal that, I tweeted back at them and said, like, hey, but for like platforms like Epic Games and veve, where they actually have licensed brands and IP, where not only now do they have to pay the licensor, but now they have to pay the in-game currency, where you actually need currency to buy things in the app. And now you're saying NFTs you have to charge for that too. So now you're getting all these fees. Like, not only they're paying licensors, Apple twice, maybe, I don't know, unless veve worked out a deal with them, I'm not sure. But now they're having to pay their team as well, and development costs to upgrade their app, and infrastructure costs. So at the end of the day, like, what is veve actually making, in terms of profit? Like, very little now. And that's why Epic Games, I think, did the whole lawsuit, and why they had to go forward with it. And I think it's going to be more prevalent and
Sorry,
more obvious as we move forward.
can you explain the Epic Games lawsuit? I'm not aware of that.
Well, Epic Games, obviously Fortnite, what they took a lawsuit to Apple, said they were basically had a monopoly. I don't know exactly all the fine details, but they were pretty
Okay.
much upset because Apple was saying that since you are on the App Store, any purchases like in
Uh,
app, like you're gonna have to pay that fee, and people have to use like this, like they have to go through the app to buy these. I don't know, it's like some chaos. And Fortnite basically was like, no, we're not about that. Like, we're gonna sue you about that. And a lot of companies actually joined the lawsuit with Epic Games. and I believe I don't know if they're still pending some lawsuit. I think they initially lost, but I think it's still like ongoing. But I think for the most part, Apple won technically. So I don't know what's going to happen. We'll see. It's just like a wait and see kind of thing. More people probably know about the lawsuit. I kept up with it for like a solid few months, but it was like one of those ongoing cases that last like a year or two. So I was like,
Yeah.
that's too much for me. So
I downloaded their first NFT game last night. Epic Games. I downloaded Blanco's Block Party.
yeah, yeah.
It was very okay.
Yeah, yeah, it's very okay. My thoughts on Blankos, I've streamed it a couple times, was that they needed to focus more on like the mini games that are actually really fun and not like force you to like play all the mini games. I think
Yeah,
like if you want to go into the shooter mode and play that, like they should just let you do that. And so I think there should be minor improvements there. I do like it, like it's just cosmetic driven NFTs and things like that. That's okay. I'm cool with that. I see that they're trying to go after like the Fall Guy kind of meta.
yeah, yeah.
Um, but yeah, it's not like my favorite genre of game. And yeah, I thought it was. I played it several times. I don't mind it at all. But I love the shooting in it for sure. But yeah, just give me the selection there. Like let me pick the game. Like come on. So that's my only like issue with that one. But I know you're big into FPS games as well. As we
I,
you know yeah, we played Fortnite and tried to get some COD going. Oh, I think we actually just lost Chris, so, um, let's see if we can get him back or what happened there. Let's see. Or his phone might have actually died. So, yeah, we'll just say his phone died, and, that was a great stream anyways. So, thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. That's pretty much all I had to say. We'll go ahead and display that announcement again here on the stream. But as you can see here, going back to the original article and what this stream was all about, was it says today we are announcing everyone on Facebook and Instagram in the US can now connect their wallets and share their digital collectibles. This includes the ability for people to cross post digital collectibles that they own across both Facebook and Instagram. Additionally, everyone in the 100 countries where digital collectibles are available on Instagram can now access the feature. So this indeed is a global rollout, and I think this does have huge implications for the future of NFTs and especially licensed NFTs as well. I think that's going to. I think there's going to be more nuances involved in just what we previously discussed here on the stream and this current stream is. I think now we're starting to venture into celebrity territory. I think when you have the ability to socially flex, I think this is going to have massive implications on celebrities specifically because we all know celebrities love to flex. So I'll be definitely watching out for kind of what's going to happen in terms of the macro. I think this does at least give a little bit of a hopium shot into the NFT space currently. Obviously, the economy is still bad. It's still hard to, kind of fight that whole bear market right now because the bear market is an absolute beast and juggernaut currently, and it doesn't seem like it's going to slow down for the next couple of months, in my opinion, just because the winter energy costs are going to go up. We know that Europe's having some really big issues with energy and energy costs over there as well, where people are going to have to pay bills. Like you can't. It's hard to onboard masses when people are focused so much on just providing for their own families and things like that. So I do see in the short term it being kind of still a big hit in the bear market as a whole. But this does inject a little bit of excitement into the NFT community, and I think kind of when the winter's over, we'll see this like massive. I think we'll see kind of like a run back to the NFT space. And when you're able to post these on socials, I think that's going to have a huge impact again on the social currency side of things and what we see influencers, content creators, celebrities, and people as a whole display NFTs, especially you have people that just want to show off their good causes, other people just want to socially flex. The Logan Pauls, like what are we going to see here in the short term and the long term? I think we'll see more of that as time rolls out. I don't think I'm not super bullish short term, as I mentioned just now, but yeah, smashing, yeah, like SoCal homie said. Actually, another engagement trick is unliking the video and then liking it again. So if like everybody did that like at 3, 2, 1, I'll count down. That's also like it helps out with the algorithm. I don't know, like that's another hack that I saw as well. So we can all do that and I can count down. So if you want to help boost this stream and get it out, that would be very grateful. So at the count of three, we're gonna unlike it and then like it again. So 1, 2, 3. Everybody unlike it and everybody like it again. So that's what we're gonna do there. We're gonna see if that works. That little bit trick right there, because we are in the bear market, right? We are like even content creators are taking a big hit on engagement these days, just because there's less interest right now, and that's the truth of it, right? That's the sobering truth, is that the interest is obviously down in the NFT space, and across every space, crypto, stocks, you name it. The interest is just down because of where macro economy is, because people just want to focus on their day jobs. They just want to focus on providing, right? So, but yeah, I think things will turn around after this winter, and we'll be back to it again. So, but yeah, stuff like that definitely helps out the channel. We're almost at 10,000 subscribers, and it definitely helps. So, uh, but that's all I got for this stream. Thank you everybody so much for tuning in. We'll see you in the next one. Be like an NFT, be authentic, and I will catch everybody later. Peace. Oh, and don't forget to join the YouTube membership. It's literally like 99 cents if you're into that. Let's see if I can actually give some stuff, give some memberships away before. Will it let me give some memberships away? Let's see if I can gift a membership away before we go. Let's see. Super chat, super sticker. It'll let me super chat myself. Let's see if we can give a YouTube membership away. We might have to figure that out in a separate stream. I was gonna gift some YouTube memberships away here on the channel, but I may have to learn and try to figure that out. Yeah, sorry guys. I was gonna give away some YouTube memberships real quick here on the channel. Like I said, it's only like $1 per month, but I wanted to give away like 20 of those here on the stream, but it doesn't look like it gives me an option to. So we'll have to figure that out later. But yeah, thank you so much for tuning in. Be like an NFT, be authentic, and I'll catch you guys later in the next stream. Peace.